Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to our cozy little corner of the internet. I'm Pen and today I'll be reading chapter 9 of The Life We Could Have Lived, This Life Was Made For Us by Zena Lemon. Chapter 9 is called Conflict and here is the summary. Dazai feels even more shit while Shin Soukoku is having angry take care of yourself battle. I hope you guys enjoy. As the summary says, there's a little Shin Soukoku in here, which I absolutely live for. Shin Soukoku is amazing. But anyway, there's a tiny bit of angst, but nothing too much. Anyway, hope you guys enjoy, and let's get into the fic. He's staring at me. Why won't he stop looking at me? Chuya could practically feel the pair of dark brown eyes burning a hole into his side as he tried to keep a cool face. He felt so flustered, and he absolutely despised it. He tried to push all his embarrassing feelings down and looked across the table, not looking Dazai in the eye. He knew he couldn't let anything slip, not even a slither of vulnerability, because he knew how Dazai was. Dazai would immediately sense it, pull it apart, and use it against the person, all while pushing them away so he doesn't actually have to open up himself. Chuya really cursed himself for falling in love with Dazai. He always knew Dazai kept people at a distance. The fact that they grew so close is practically a miracle. Despite how it felt so right, as if they were bound together, he cursed himself because he knew Dazai would never allow him to come any closer. He's known that for a long time. In fact, it was strange how he didn't fully recognize his feelings for the brunette until now. He originally thought that this world had made him feel like this, some voodoo ability shit messing with his brain. But maybe it was a certain looming presence that he was used to feeling, suddenly vanishing, that allowed him to fully acknowledge and discover these feelings. Whatever it was, Chuya felt stupid for never realizing them, even if they were fake. He tried to ignore the thoughts that lingered in his mind, that maybe he could have kept Dazai from leaving if he knew then, or maybe it would have been enough to let him go with him in another universe, you know? Thinking about all this did help keep his mind off the current situation. Chuya was slowly figuring out how to keep his cool, considering he'd never been in a position like this before, helplessly in love with someone and trying desperately to hide it. He didn't really have any experience per se. All he could do was stare at his lunch, he hoped it was working. You always do this. God, Dazai really felt like shit. I mean, he always did feel a little shit, but it was bad now. Dazai knew he fucked up. He always does. He watched as Chuya backed away from him, how the redhead couldn't even glance at him. Now he hates you. Great job. Now he hates you again. Great job. All Dazai could do was glare at the redhead, and again there was that feeling, yearning love. Dazai loved Chuya, and for the second Dazai realized it was too late. Fuck. The thoughts were back, crawling out to feed on Dazai's misfortune. Did he go too far? Maybe he should have just stopped Chuya while he could. He hated the look on Chuya's face as he listened to the two boys in front of them, completely ignoring Dazai. Maybe he was just being selfish. He should be listening to whatever his proteges were talking about as well, but he couldn't seem to pull his eyes away from the redhead. Are you listening? Stop glaring at your Stop gurgling? Stop glaring at your boyfriend. I'm just gonna go with that. Octogao pulls Dazai out of his thoughts, his tone surprising Dazai as he seemed to be slightly frustrated, gesturing to the boy beside him. He obviously cares about this. Listen. Oh, he's defending Atsushi. That's adorable. I'm sorry, Atsushi. What were you saying? Dazai apologizes to the white-haired boy, who quickly tries to take the blame. Dazai feels another pang of guilt, something he's been feeling a lot more ever since his emotions were brought to a normal degree. He couldn't imagine feeling all couldn't imagine feeling all this all the time. Taking into account all the stuff he's done would warrant such a feeling. It's fine. You probably just spaced out a lot today. You've probably been through a lot today and just spaced out. I'm quite tired as well. Atsushi tries to make up an explanation for Dazai, nervously sputtering out an excuse. You're tired? Are you okay? Akutagawa turns his head almost instantly, his tone insistent in a caring way. Hey, no, stop worrying about me and worry more about yourself. Atsushi becomes more pressed. How about you? Are you tired? Answer my question first. No, you're the one with COPD. Oh, and that's why he had the cannula tube. Dazai could tell he had some sort of lung disease, but couldn't place which one. Dazai wonders the story behind this Akutagawa's condition. Don't pity me. Akutagawa's voice was noticeably quieter, his brows furrowed slightly as Atsushi's facial expression immediately turned to a softer one. Hey, no, I'm not pitying you, I just care, you know? He reassures softly, seeming hesitant to admit how much he cares for the other. And this is like watching a juicy drama and Dazai is living for it. He glances over to Chuya, who he catches staring at him instead. They lock eyes for a second before Chuya blinks and turns away, scowling. Well, shit. Are you feeling tired at all? Atsushi tries in a softer tone. Not really, are you? Barely, but it's nothing to worry about, he reassures before Akutagawa can protest, turning to the other, couple across the table. What do you think of your teacher so far? Atsushi tries to change the subject. Mr. Mori still looks like a pedo, Akutagawa nonchalantly says, regaining his normal composure and causing Chuya to choke on his drink. Dazai glances over to Chuya, who gives him a knowing look. At least he's actually looking at him now. What? Atsushi exclaims. Yeah, last year he stood outside in the hallways between classes, and the little girls felt something about him was just creepy, Akutagawa explains. Atsushi's face becoming more and more grim. You never heard about this? No, how is he still a teacher? Probably not enough actual evidence, Dazai answers. They can't remove him over a hunch. However, if there's enough complaints, he could get suspended. Sadly, that's not going to happen. That's terrible. Atsushi was always so empathetic. Dazai really applauded him for that. Moving forward, the four shared their schedules, comparing classes and seeing who had what classes together. Dazai notices how he and Chuya have the same last two classes together, which would have normally left him feeling happy about while playing it off like he couldn't stand to be with Chuya, probably throwing in a dog joke along with it. But after what just happened, Dazai feels like being around Chuya is only going to worsen his situation. Him being around Chuya, especially now after realizing how deep his connection to the redhead, will only make him feel worse. Chuya hates him, and Dazai knows it, and it pains him. He hopes that they can figure out a way home. Home soon, and forget about all of this. Rampo watches as the students flood into the room. It was finally 7th period, which meant Dazai would be in his class. He'd been thinking over the origin of this world for the past couple of hours, using his memories from this world to his advantage. But even with that, Rampo was missing the final piece. He knew this world was a product of an ability, and the ability was used on someone other than Dazai, but it affected him enough to allow Dazai's ability to work. Also, it wasn't just some alternate universe that they had been transferred to, because Rampo actually had some memories from this world. It was similar to how the book worked. Whatever the ability was doing became reality. Rampo didn't know if Dazai also had his memories from this world, but he would assume he didn't. His ability seemed to nullify everything about what actually changed him. But who was the actual target? Rampo's questions were immediately answered as Dazai walked into the room with a certain redhead trailing behind him. The way Chuya looked over at Rampo with familiar eyes before seeming to scowl, as he probably remembered being trapped in Poe's book together, proved his hunch. Chuya was the initial target, and he had his memories because of that. Rampo watched as the two made their way to a very specific table. There were plenty of tables to sit at, yet the two pick the only one with a person behind it, judging specifically a girl with dark hair and green eyes. Judging by the girl's reactions to the two approaching her, it was safe to say they found their perpetrator. Rampo knew he could rely on Dazai to figure this out from here, but he couldn't help but being a little curious. He took attendance, keeping an eye out for the name that matched the face. He kept down the small smirk as she raised her head, responding to the name Mary Shelley. Chuya, Dazai, and Mary unnoticeably make their way out of the classroom. Chuya was quite thankful for Rampo knowing about the situation, because even on their own they wouldn't be able to make it out undetected. Maybe Dazai could have, but not without dragging Mary along. They obviously couldn't talk about this while in the classroom, so they had to leave. They were so close to getting this over with, and Chuya really wanted a drink. But yet again, the universe really had something out against him. I would like to let you know that when my ability comes back, it seems to be quite random, Dazai reveals. So unless we get super lucky right now, we're not going back unless... Dazai turns to Mary. You can undo your ability manually. I can't. Mary sounds a little disappointed in herself. Perfect! Chuya exclaims sarcastically. What even is your ability, and why did you use it on me? I thought you would be happy. Why do you even want to go back so early? Mary explains, strangely confused. What do you mean you wanted me to be happy? I didn't even know you. Chuya exclaims, also very confused. I guess you don't know I was there, but do you seriously not remember last night? No, they answer simultaneously. You saved me. Mary turns to Chuya. I was imprisoned by some organization while I was traveling to Yokohama. They wanted to use me for my ability. I didn't even know how they knew of it. I didn't know how long I was there. All I remember was wanting to get out to see the world again. I thought my prayers had been answered when all of a sudden the doors unlocked and I saw you. Mary looks at Chuya with this thankfulness in her eyes, like she had seen an angel. I watched you destroy everyone there. Mary tells the story like it was the most amazing thing she's ever seen. Chuya slowly recalls the events of last night, remembering the mission Mori gave him to destroy another organization that had popped up and was posing a threat. I didn't want to get in your way, so to repay my thanks, I used my ability on you. I thought that would be sufficient enough. Yeah, about that, what's your ability? Dazai asks, sounding a little impatient. Mary turns to the brunette. It's called Frankenstein. Okay, guys, that was chapter 9 of The Life We Could Have Lived, This Life Was Made For Us by Zena Lemon. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I did. Make sure to take care of yourself, and I'll see you all later. Bye.